Hello good day viewers. Remember I promised to start posting series of videos on the just concluded WAEC mathematics examination, and we're going to start with the AC part, and here is the first question. The first question here we have 1A, which reads, a car travels a distance of 112 kilometers at an average speed of 70 kilometers per hour. It then travels further for 60 kilometers at an average speed of 50 kilometers per hour. We're asked to calculate for the entire journey the total time taken. And the B part reads, if x divided by y equal to 2 and y divided by z equal to 3, we're asked to evaluate the value of x plus y divided by y plus z. All right, let's get started. For the question 1A, it is a question related to distance, speed, and time, right? So what is the relationship between them? Remember that speed, let me call it s, is equal to distance divided by time, right? But this question is asking about total time taken. So how can we make t, which is the time, the subject? It implies that t is equal to d divided by s. Already we have two information regarding distance and speed from the question. We have the first distance here and we have the second distance here. First speed, second speed. We are going to relate all of them in the same formula. So let's start with t1. First time, it will be equal to what? Distance divided by the speed. We have the first distance here, which is 112 kilometers. So we have 112 divided by the speed. The first speed here is 70 kilometers per hour, so we have 70 right here. And t2, second time that we are looking for, will be equal to the distance, which is 60 kilometers divided by 50 kilometers per hour. So we have 60 divided by 50. Remember to find the total time, that is total time, will be equal to what? T1 plus T2. And T1 is what? 112 divided by 70. And plus we have 60 divided by 50. This is equal to, if you reduce this to the lowest term, you're going to have 8 divided by 5, because 112 can be divided by 14 8 times, and 70 can be divided by 14 5 times. So we have plus, this 0 will cancel this 0. If you divide the top and the bottom by 10, we have 6 divided by 5. Now you can see we have common denominators. We are free to add the numerators. We have 8 plus 6, which is 14. So we have 14 right here, divided by 5. Remember that this is in hours, so we can break it into hours and minutes. 5 can divide 14 2 times exactly, with a remainder of what? 4 over 5. So we can say plus 4 over 5. So we have 2 complete hours with some fractions. So how can we convert this into minutes? We can multiply it by 60, so that we have 2 hours with some certain minutes. So this is equal to 2 hours and 4 over 5 multiplied by 60 minutes. Remember, if you multiply hours by 60, they are going to be converted into minutes. And we know that 5 can divide 60 12 times, and 12 times 4 is 48. So this is exactly 48 minutes. So we have 2 hours, 48 minutes. So this journey will cover the whole of 2 hours, 48 minutes. This is all about question 1A. Let us move on to question 1B. So here is question 1B. We are given that x divided by y is equal to 2 and y divided by z equal to 3. We are asked to evaluate the whole of this expression. So let's start from the expression. I would like to divide every single term by y. So we have to the top x divided by y plus y divided by y. Then to the bottom we have y divided by y plus z divided by y. If you simplify this, you have x divided by y plus 1, because y divided by y is 1. And also here we have another 1, then plus z divided by y. Because from the statement given to us, we have x divided by y, which is 2, and we have y divided by z, but this is z divided by y instead. So how can we transform it into y divided by z? We have a logic for that. The whole of this can be written as x divided by y plus 1 to the top. To the bottom we have 1 plus 1 divided by the whole of y divided by z. This is the same thing as this, or you can say y divided by z to the power of -1. They are all the same. So now we can just back substitute. For x divided by y is 2, for y divided by z is 3. So this is equal to 2 plus 1 to the top. To the bottom we have 1 plus 1 divided by 3. And this can be simplified as 3 times 1 plus 1. That is 4 divided by 3. To the top we have 2 plus 1, which is 3. I can even take it like this: 3 divided by 4 divided by 3. They are all the same, right? And by taking reciprocal of this, we can change the division sign into multiplication. So this becomes 3 multiplied by 3 divided by 4, which is 9 divided by 4. Finally, 9 divided by 4. Final answer. So this is all about question number 1. Let us move on to question number 2. Here is the second question in section E of WAEC 2023. The question reads, in a football match, the tickets for children and adults were sold at 3D and 5D respectively. I don't know which currency is this. If 400 people attended the football match and 1,700 is collected in ticket sales, A, how many tickets were sold to adults? And B, Mr. Sonko sold 250 tickets. If 175 of the tickets were for adults, how much sales did he make altogether? All right, let's start with the first one here. So let me use variables. Let x be the number of tickets sold for the children, and let y be the number of tickets sold for the adults. All right, after this declaration, so what happens if we decide to add x and y? X plus y will be the total number of tickets sold. But according to the question, 400 people attended the match, meaning 400 tickets were sold. So this must be equal to 400. Equation number 1. And to find the amount, because we realized according to the question, for children it costs what, 3D, and for the adults it costs 5D. So to find the total amount for the children, it is 3 multiplied by x. So 3x will be the total amount collected after selling the ticket to children. Then plus 5y. And this must be equal to the total amount collected, which is 1,700 according to the question. So we have 1,700. So this is a system of equation that we can solve either by elimination, substitution, graphical, whatever. So let me use elimination here. Let's multiply this by 3. After doing that, we have 3x plus 3y equal to 1,200. Then let me bring the second equation, which is 3x plus 5y equal to 1,700. So we are going to, let's subtract 3x minus 3x will give us 0, and 3y minus 5y will give us negative 2y, and this is 1200 minus 1700 is negative 500. Minus will cancel, and y will be equal to 500 divided by 2, and y equal to 250. But can you remember what is y? Y is nothing but the total number of tickets sold for the adults, which is exactly the question asked in A. You see, how many tickets were sold to adults, which is 250 tickets. Therefore, 250 tickets were sold to adults. So we have just answered A part. Let us move on to the B part. So the B part, which is the second question, reads, Mr. Sonko sold 250 tickets. If 175 of the tickets were for adults, how much sale did he make altogether? So you should observe that the total number of tickets sold are 250. So 175 tickets are for adults. So how many will be for the children? All you have to do is to subtract this number from 250. 250, which are the total number of tickets, minus 175, which is for the adults, and this is equal to 75, meaning he has sold 75 tickets to children. Therefore, we have 175 tickets for adults, and we have 75 tickets for children. Altogether, we have 250 tickets. We're asked to find how much sales did he make altogether. We know from the beginning that each ticket for children costs 3D, and that of the adults costs 5D, right? So all we have to do is to take this and multiply by 5, add to 75 multiplied by 3, and we are good to go. So total sale, that is in amount, right, will be 175, which is for adults, times 5 plus 75 times 3. Let's simplify this. 175 times 5 is 875, plus 75 times 3 is 225. 875 plus 225 will give us 1100. So this is 1100D. Honestly, I don't know what this D stands for, but I know it's a currency. So the total amount made by Sonko is 1100D. And this is all about the second question. Let us move on to the third question. The question reads, in the diagram, which is this one above, PQR is an equilateral triangle. You can see PQR. An equilateral triangle has all its sides equal, all the interior angles equal. They are all 60 degrees. And the side length of this equilateral triangle is 18 cm. M is a midpoint of QR. You can see QR here, and M is the midpoint, halfway between Q and R. An arc of a cycle with center P touches QR at M. So it means that this is a sector, right? You can see this is a sector. This is the center of the cycle that forms the sector from the center. And it means that from here down to A is a radius. So you can see that the arc touches PQ at A and PR at B. We're asked to calculate, correct to 2 decimal places, the area of the shaded region. You can see shaded region here. And we're asked to take pi as 22 divided by 7, which is commonly used in Nigeria. So how can we find the area of this shaded region? First of all, we have to find the area of this equilateral triangle. Secondly, find the area of this sector. Then take away the area of the sector from the area of the triangle. What is left will be the area of this blue region. All right, let us find the area of the equilateral triangle. You know, equilateral triangle is a special triangle. So area of triangle, since it is an equilateral triangle, we can use this formula: square root of 3 divided by 4 multiplied by a squared, for which a is the side length, which is given as 18 centimeters. So this is equal to the square root of 3 divided by 4 multiplied by 18 squared. So now let me use my calculator, press everything directly, and this is approximately equal to 140.30 cm squared. So this is the area of the equilateral triangle. Now coming back to the area of sector, we have a sector right here. You can see that this is a sector, and to find the area of sector, all you have to do is to take the angles subtended by that sector, divide by 360 degrees, which is the angle of a point or a cycle, then multiply by area of cycle, which is pi r squared. So what do we need to find here? We need to find r, because pi is given, and we know this angle must be 60 degrees because I told you the interior angles of an equilateral triangle are all equal. They are all equal to 60, 60. This is 60, this is 60, and this is also 60, making 180. So all we have to find is the radius, and you know radius is the distance from the center to any part of the circumference. So since we have a midpoint here, we can draw a perpendicular line like this, and this must be what? Radius. Remember that this side length is 18, and if this is the midpoint, this will be 9. This is also 9. 9 plus 9, 18. So if you observe, we have a right angled triangle here, which we can apply Pythagoras rule to find the radius. Remember, hypotenuse squared is equal to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. So that's what we're going to do. So 18 squared will be equal to r squared plus 9 squared. 18 squared is equal to r squared plus 9 squared. So r squared will be equal to 18 squared minus 9 squared. Let me plug in this first. 18 squared minus 9 squared is equal to 243. R squared is equal to 243. I'm not going to take square root because I realize from my formula I have r squared. So instead of taking square root, I can substitute r squared with 243 directly. And therefore, the area will be what? Theta, which is 60 degrees, divided by 360 degrees, then multiplied by pi, which is 22 divided by 7, multiplied by r squared, which is 243. You know, this will give us 1 divided by 6. So we have 1 divided by 6, because 60 can divide 61 times, and it can divide 366 times. Multiplied by, what is 22 times 243? I have 5,346 divided by 7. So all we have to do is to multiply this to the top, which is going to still give us 5,346, then divide by 6 times 7, which is 42. And this will give us approximately equal to 127.29 in 2 decimal places. So this is the area of that sector. Remember, we are looking for the area of shaded region. So area of shaded region, it will be equal to what? Area of triangle minus area of sector. So what is area of triangle? We have it here as 140.30. 140.30 minus area of sector, which is 127.29. Then we subtract, and this will give us exactly 13.01 cm squared in what? 2 decimal places according to the question, and hence this is the area of that shaded region, 13.01. Here is question number 4 of WAEC 2023 mathematics examination, which is related to cycle theorem. The question reads: P, Q, R, and S are points on the cycle center K. KR bisect angle SRQ, and an angle KSP equal to 41 degrees, and angle SKR 80 degrees. We're asked to find angle RQP and angle SPQ. So we are looking for these two angles, this and this. There are a couple of things you should know about this question. Number one, you should know that this triangle right here is an isosceles triangle. Why? Because remember that RS is a chord, and whenever a chord subtends an angle to the center, the triangle formed is always an isosceles triangle, because this is a radius, and you know they have the same length, and opposite sides of an isosceles triangle are equal, right? And second thing you should know is that this line RK bisect this particular angle, which implies that this angle and this angle must be the same. This is second thing you should know. And another thing you should know about this question is that this is a quadrilateral and all its vertices are touching the cycle, which means that it is a cyclic quadrilateral. And the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral added up to 180 degrees, which means that if you should add this angle and this angle together, you're going to obtain 180 degrees. All right, let's get started. First of all, I would like to find these two angles. Remember, they must be the same because the triangle is an isosceles triangle. And you know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180. Therefore, this particular angle and this particular angle added to 100 degrees because we have 80 already. But we are going to add all of them. So let me start by saying that this particular angle, which is KRS, angle KRS must be equal to this particular angle RSK. RSK. Why? Because of isosceles, right? Isosceles. And therefore we can consider one of them. We can say that KRS plus RSK plus that other angle given to us, which is 80, the whole of this must be 180 degrees. And because these two are the same, we can choose one of them. We can say 2RSK plus 80 degrees equal to 180 degrees. And if you take 80 to the other side, it becomes negative. We have 2RSK equal to 100. Divide both sides by 2, you have RSK to be equal to 50 degrees. It means that this particular angle here, which is RSK, this particular angle right here is what? 50 degrees. And if it is 50, this other one must be 50. I remember they said that this particular line bisected this angle. Therefore, the two angles here must be the same. This other one must be 50 as well. So altogether, we have 100 degrees here, right? But angle QRK is equal to RSK, which is equal to 50. You can state the reason. Because we have a line that bisected it, right? RK is a straight line. Let me do it down here. Because RK bisects which angle? QRS. QRS. This is the reason. So A part, they say we should find RQP. We are looking for this angle. So what you should know is that if you take this angle and add it to this angle, you're going to obtain 180. Remember, I told you that the sum of the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral equal to 180. But here we have 50 plus 41, which is angle RSP. So RSP plus RQP, which we are looking for, must be 180 degrees. But RSP will be what? 50 plus 41. That is RSP. 50 plus 41. This is a single angle. Plus this is unknown, RQP, equal to 180. This together will give us 91. But we can take it to the other side. We have RQP to be equal to 180 minus 91. And therefore, angle RQP that we're looking for is equal to 89 degrees. So we have just answered this. It implies that this particular angle right here is equal to 89 degrees. Now let us find this one. And this angle right here will be 80 because we already have 100 here. So the B part, we are looking for SPQ. We are looking for SPQ. This is an angle. But if you add it to the other angle, which is QRS plus the angle we are looking for, will give us 180. But already we have seen that this is 50 plus 50. Then plus the unknown angle. This is 180. You take this to the other side, leaving SPQ here, equal to 180 minus 100, which is 80. Therefore, SPQ is equal to 80 degrees. As simple as that. So we have just answered this question, which is question number 4. Now let us move on to question number 5. Here is question number 5 of WAEC 2023 mathematics examination. The question is related to angle of elevation. All right, the question reads, a boy stands at a point M on the same horizontal level with the foot T of vertical building. He observes an object on the top P of the building at an angle of elevation of 66 degrees. He moves directly backward to another new point C and observes the same object at an angle of elevation of 53 degrees. If MT is equal to 50 meters, we are asked to illustrate the information in a diagram, and secondly, calculate the height of the building correct to 1 decimal place, then find the length of MC. All right, let's get started. Let's assume we have a horizontal ground here, and let's assume we have the building right here, which is vertical. And which point is that? Point T. And let's assume the boy was standing here at point M. He observed an object here at the top. So we are going to have an angle here. Angle of what? 66 degrees. I remember he moves backward to another point, point C. But still observe the same object to the top. But this time around, at what angle? 53 degrees, according to the question. Then they said the length of MT is equal to 50 meters. So this is MT, this is 50 meters. So we have just illustrated the information in a diagram. So this is A. Then the B part, we are asked to find the height of the building correct to 1 decimal place. So since we don't know the height of the building, we can declare it with h. So what is the relationship that exists between this angle and these two side lengths? Tangent, right? Because tangent of 66 degrees will be what? Opposite divided by the adjacent. That is h divided by 50. So B part, since we are looking for h, tangent of 66 degrees will be equal to opposite, which is h, divided by adjacent, which is 50. To find h, we can multiply both sides by 50. Therefore, h equal to 50 multiplied by tangent of 66 degrees. So I'm going to use my calculator. Press 50 multiplied by tangent of 66 degrees. And this is approximately equal to 112.3 meter, because they say to 1 decimal place. So this is the height of the building. Then the C part, we asked to find the length of MC. This is what? MC. There's one thing you should know about this angle of 53 degrees. We can still use it to find the h. Therefore, tangent of 53 degrees will be what? Opposite, which is h, divided by the adjacent. But this time around, the adjacent will be the sum of this and this. That is cm or mc. They are all the same, plus 50 meters. So the C part, you should know that tangent of 53 degrees will be the opposite, which is h, divided by cm or mc plus 50, because that is the total adjacent. From this point to this point, we have cm plus 50. Then to find h, we can multiply both sides by this. Therefore, h is equal to mc plus 50 multiplied by tangent of what? 53 degrees. But remember that h is equal to 112, that is 112.3. So we can say that 112.3 is our h, which is still equal to mc plus 50 multiplied by tangent of what? 53 degrees. So now let me find tangent of 53 degrees, or we can divide both sides by tangent of 53 degrees, so that we have mc plus 50 equal to 112.3 divided by tangent of 53 degrees, right? And finally, we can subtract 50 from both sides since we are looking for mc. So mc is equal to 112.3 divided by tangent of 53 degrees minus 50. And this is what we need to simplify to find the length of MC. So let me start by finding the tangent of 53 degrees. Tangent of 53 degrees is equal to, or approximately equal to, 1.33. So this is equal to 112.3 divided by 1.33, then minus 50. Then we divide 112.3 by 1.33, and this is approximately 84.4. So we have this to be 84.4 minus 50. Then finally we take away this, we have 34.4, right? So this is MC equal to 34.4 meters in 1 dp. This is also in 1 dp, remember, in 1 decimal place. So we have just answered this question number 5. Now let us move on to question number 6. Here is question number 6 of WAEC 2023 mathematics examination. It consists of 2 parts, A and B. We have A here and we have the B here. Let's start with question 6A. All right, here is question 6A. We are given a set M, which is defined by N such that 2n minus 3 is less than or equal to 37. And you can see that this n is a counting number, meaning it starts from 1 up to whatever. The first question reads, write down all the elements in M. And secondly, if a number is selected at random from the set M, what is the probability that it is a multiple of 3, then factor of 10? First of all, let us start with this one, which is Roman number 1. We are asked to write down all the elements in M. All right, so we have 1i. But first of all, let us simplify 2n minus 3 less than or equal to 37. 2n minus 3 less than or equal to 37. If you take negative 3 to the other side, you have 2n less than or equal to 37 plus 3. 2n less than or equal to 40, right? 37 plus 3 is 40. You divide both sides by 2, you have n less than or equal to 20. Therefore, we have set of counting numbers from 1 to 20, and hence we can define M as the set of numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the sets 1 to 20. We are done with the first question. Then the second question stated that if a number is selected at random from the set, what is the probability that the number you have picked is a multiple of 3? So we need to find multiple of 3 first. So Roman number 2, alpha, because that is the first question there, alpha. We want to find the probability of picking a multiple of 3. So multiple of 3, let me shade them first. You can see them. We have 3, we have 6, we have 9, we have 12, 15, 18. These are the multiples of 3 here. How many there are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 in number. So let me say multiple of 3. We have the set to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. There are 6 in number. So talking about probability, let me say probability of picking multiple of 3. You know, it will be what? The expected outcome, number of expected outcome. There are 6 in number. All over number of sample space. If you count these numbers, there are 20. So divide by 20. And you can reduce this to the lowest term as 2 can divide 6. How many times? 3 times. And 2 can divide 20 10 times. And hence 3 divided by 10 is the solution to this problem. Then moving to beta, they said what? Factors of 10. All right, factors of 10, numbers that can divide 10 without remainder, right? So let me say factors of 10. And you must make sure you pick them from this 1 to 20. We have 1, we have 2, we have 5, we have 10. I think these are the only factors of 10. So probability of picking factors of 10, number of expected outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, divide by number of samples space, there are 20, which is equal to 1 divided by 5. And 1 divided by 5 is said to be the solution to this problem. That is the second one. Now let us move on to the B part. All right, here is question 6b. It contains a typing error, but let us read the question first. A shop owner gave an end of the year bonus to 2 of his attendants, Contour and Gafson, in the ratio of their ages. So here is the typing error or typological error. Contour's age is 1.5 times of the Contour who is 20 years old. It cannot be Contour at the same time Contour, right? So I think probably this can be Gafson or otherwise, I don't know. But I would like to transform this into Gafson because that will give us a nice solution. So let me shade this. The error is not from me. I would like to transform this into Gafson. So this should be Gafson. So Gafson's age is 1.5 times that of Cantor, who is 20 years old. Okay, first of all, before we come back to the questions, let me write them here. We have Gabson and we have Cantor. Their ages. Cantor is what? 20 years. 20 years. So what do you expect this to be? Because they say Gabson is 1.5 times the age of Mr. Cantor. 1 meaning 20 and another half, that is 10. 20 and 10 making 30, right? So this is 30 years. And another way to do that, you can see 1.5 of 20. 1.5 is what? 3 divided by 2 of is times 20. 2 can divide 20 10 times, and 3 times 10 is 30. So therefore, Gabson will be 30 years. What about their share? Let me continue reading the question. If Cantor receive 200,000 LE, I don't know which currency is this. If he received 200,000, find the total amount shared. Find the Gabson share. I would like to find the Gabson share first. So I will consider this as Roman number 2 before going to Roman number 1. It all depends on how you want to solve it. Share, let me write share first. From the question, Cantor received 200,000. 200,000. So what about Gabson? I would like to use scale factor, though there are different ways of solving this problem, but I would like to use scale factor. What number can we multiply by 20 to get 200,000? That number must be 10,000. So if I should take 20 and multiply by 10,000, that will definitely give us 200,000, right? So this 10,000 is going to be our scale factor. I will use it even here. I will take 30 and multiply by 10,000, which is the scale factor. And that will give us the share of Mr. Gabson, which is what? 300,000 LE. Don't forget the LE. I don't know which currency is this. So you can clearly see that Mr. Gabson's share is what? 300,000. So the first question was asking to find the total amount shared. So to find the total amount shared, all we have to do is to add the total shares, right? Total amount will be equal to 200,000 plus 300,000. As simple as that. And this will give us what? 500,000 LE. And I can quickly show you another way to find this. If you want to start with the first question, suppose the total amount shared is X. You can say total amount equal to X. I remember their ratio is what? 30 to 20. This is their ratio. And the total ratio will be total ratio. This is not must. And I think this is the long way. It's 50 if you add the two ratios together. So to find the total amount shared, since we know the amount received by Mr. Cantor is 200,000, we can say that 20, which is a ratio out of the total ratio 50, multiplied by X, this must be 200,000. So from here you can solve for X, which is definitely going to give us what? 500,000. So X will be equal to 200,000 multiplied by the reciprocal of this, which is 50 by 20. You can see that 20 will cancel 20. We have only 10,000 here multiplied by 50, which is 500,000. So this is another way to find X if you want to start from question Roman 1. But I decided to use scale factor, which I think is the simplest way of solving this problem. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues. Next is going to be which question? Because this is question number 6, right? Let's move on to question number 7. Here is question number 7 of WAEC 2023 mathematics examination. It also contains A and B parts. Let's start with A part. All right, here is 7a. The question reads, the sum of three numbers is 81. The second number is twice the first number. Given that the third number is 6 more than the second number, we're asked to find the numbers. All right, let's get started. I would like to declare the first number here, first number, second number, and third number. All right, let the first number be x. Second number will be 2x. Why? Because they said the second number is twice the first number. Then the third number will be what? 6 plus the second number. That is 6 plus the second number, which is 2x. And if we add all the three numbers together, we are going to get 81 according to the question. So therefore x plus 2x plus 6 plus 2x must be equal to 81. Then x plus 2x will give us 5x's. So I have 5x's to the left. I would like to take this one to the other side. It will be 81 minus 6, which is 75. 5x is equal to 75. You divide both sides by 5. You have x equal to 75. Divide by 5, which is 15, right? And x is equal to 15. So having obtained this, now let us back substitute. First number will be what? 15, since it is x. Second number will be what? Twice the first number, that is 2 times 15, which is 30. And the third number will be what? 6 plus 30, which is 36. And if you add all of these three numbers, you must get 81. So this is all about A part. Let us move on to the B part. The question reads, given that the points P, which has the coordinate 3, 5, and Q, which has the coordinates -5, 7, on the Cartesian plane such that R, which is also a point that contains coordinates x and y, is a midpoint of PQ. So it's halfway between P to Q. We're asked to find the equation of the line that passes through R and is perpendicular to PQ. Let us make a simple sketch here. Suppose we have a straight line here. This is P, this is Q. The coordinates are given. For P is 3, 5. For Q it is -5, 7. And R is somewhere in between, which has the coordinate x, y. We need to find this x, y. Let us find them first before we continue. Midpoint, you take the corresponding coordinates, add them, and divide by 2. So for R, it will be 3 plus -5, which is the same thing as -5, divided by 2. For y coordinate will be 5 plus 7, divided by 2. If you simplify this, you have coordinate of R to be 3 minus 5 is -2, divided by 2 is -1. Then 5 plus 7 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. So here we have -1, 6. So the coordinate here is -1, 6. But the question stated that we should find an equation that passes through R and is perpendicular to PQ. Any line that is perpendicular to PQ will bisect it at right angle. So it is going to be a straight line that passes through R, and it must form a 90 degrees here. So what is the relationship between this line that we are about to find and PQ? Their respective slopes must be negative reciprocal of each other. And hence, let us find the slope of line PQ first. So slope of line PQ will be equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. This is equal to you can choose to start from anywhere. If I decide to start from P, I have 5 minus 7, that's y coordinates, 5 minus 7. Then we have 3 minus 5, that is 3 plus 5, 3 plus 5, because minus is plus. This will give us what? -2 to the top, because 5 minus 7 is -2, and 3 plus 5 is 8. And if you reduce this to the lowest term, you have negative 1 divided by 4. What is going to be the slope of the line we are looking for? Slope of the line L1. It is going to be negative reciprocal of this, I told you, which is going to be 4. Because if you take reciprocal of this, you're going to get 4 divided by negative 1, which is negative 4. Its negative will be 4. So this is one of the things we need. Therefore, to find that equation, because they say at R, it passes through R, and R has the coordinates negative 1,6, which we have obtained recently, negative 1,6. So we have y minus y1 equal to the slope, which is 4. Or let me write everything in full. That is m for the slope, x minus x1. So y minus, what is y here, is 6. You can see that here, equal to m, which is 4. Then x minus 1, which is plus 1. And from here, you can take negative 6 to the other side. We have y equal to, let us expand this first. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1 is 4. As this crosses over, it becomes positive 6. Simplify, you get your final equation, 4x plus 10, because 4 plus 6 is 10. And hence, this is the equation which is perpendicular to the given line PQ that passes through the point R. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Now let us move on to question number 8. Here is question number 8 of WAEC 2023 Mathematics Examination. This question is related to quadratic graph. The A part of question number 8 reads, copy and complete the table of y equal to 2x squared minus x minus 4 for the values of x from negative 3 to 3. We are given the table here. Already some of the values of y are given 17 and negative 3. So we need to fill in these boxes. And how can we do that? We're going to take negative 2 here, plug it into the function, simplify and obtain the corresponding value of y. Then we write it here, do for all the other boxes, and we're good to go before we move on to B part. So already, if x is negative 3, if you plug it in here and simplify, you're going to get y equal to 17. This 17 is given from the question, but if you like, you can verify, but I will just go forward. We are going to substitute the value of x equal to negative 2 in here. Let me do the rough work here to the top. Y will now be equal to 2 multiplied by negative 2 squared, because x is squared here, the minus x, which is negative 2, then minus 4. We have negative 2 squared here, which is going to give us positive 4 times 2 is 8. The minus is plus, so we have plus 2 here, minus 4. 8 plus 2 is 10, and the 10 minus 4 is 6. So definitely when x is negative 2, we have the value of y to be equal to 6. Then what about if x is negative 1? All we have to do is to substitute this and this. We write negative 1 here and negative 1 here. Negative 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. Minus is plus, so we have plus 1, then minus 4. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So this is negative 1. When x is 0, already y is negative 4. Then we move on to where x equal to 1. 1, 1. So we have 1 squared is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. Then minus 1, minus 4. 2 minus 1 is 1, and 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So this is going to give us minus 3. Then what about when x is equal to 2? We have 2 here, we have 2 here. 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. Minus 2 minus 4. 8 minus 2 is 6. And 6 minus 4 is 2. So this is 2. Then lastly, when x is 3, we have 3 here, we have 3 here. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Minus 3 minus 4. 18 minus 3 is 15, right? And 15 minus 4 is 11. So we have 11 right here. So we have just copied and completed the table. Then we move on to the B part. Then the B part reads, using a scale of 2 centimeters to 1 unit on x-axis and 2 centimeters to 2 units on y-axis, we are asked to construct the graph of the function y equal to 2x squared minus x minus 4 from negative 3 down to 3 for the values of x. Okay, already I have my graph here. All you have to do is to write that statement to the right corner of your graph. 2 centimeters to 1 unit on x-axis. You can see 2 centimeters here, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter. I have 1 unit, 1, 2, 2 units, 1, 2. So every 2 centimeter you should place 1 unit. But on y-axis they say every 2 centimeter you should place 2 units. So you see 1, 2, 2 units, 1, 2, additional 2 units, that's 4, and so on. So after doing this, all you have to do is to start plotting. When x is negative 3, you have the value of y to be 17. So you locate x equal to negative 3, which is right here, and the value of y is 17. You move down to the top. You see we have 16 here, which implies that we have 17 here. I think this is the right point under negative 3. You place the point there. Then you move back again. When x is negative 2, you have y to be equal to 6. When x is negative 2, you locate 6 on y-axis, which is right here. You place the point here. When x is negative 2, y is 6. Then you move on again. When x is negative 1, y is also negative 1. When x is negative 1, you have negative 1 right here. So you place the point here. You move back again. When x is 0, you have y to be negative 4. When x is 0, this is where x is 0, y is negative 4. So on y-axis, you place your point here. Move back again. When x is 1, y is negative 3. You can see it right here. 1, comma, negative 3. This is where x is 1, and this is where y is negative 3. You move back again. When x is 2, y is also 2. When x is 2, y is 2, you have your point right here. Then the last point, when x is 3, y is 11. When x is 3 here, y is 11. So how can we locate 11? This is where we have 11. Then the next thing to do here is to connect all the points. All right, you can now see the graph of this function, y equal to 2x squared minus x minus 4. Then moving to the C part, it stated that using the graph, so you are not asked to calculate anything, you should use the graph. We are asked to find the roots of the equation 2x squared minus x minus 4 equal to 0. So we want to find the values of x exactly where the curve crosses x-axis. That is C1. Remember that this is B. And then finding exact point where the curve crosses x-axis, you can see we have one here and we have the other one here. So they are fractions, you can see. They are not whole numbers. So we can see that this one is approximately either negative 1.1, 0.2, 0.3. I cannot read it exactly, but let me just write it. X is approximately equal to, let me say, negative 1.2. And this other one, we can read it as, you see here is 1.5. So this is greater than 1.5. Can we call it 1.6? So OX equal to 1.6. So this are what? C Roman 1. Then C Roman 2 stated what? Find the values of x for which y is increasing as x is increasing. So first of all, let us find where y is increasing. If you look at this function, it is decreasing here. Look at it. It keeps on decreasing. It keeps on decreasing till it gets to a point here where it immediately started increasing. So we want to find the values of x exactly where it started increasing. We're only concerned with the values of x, exactly where y is also increasing. So since all of these points at the back, y is decreasing, we don't care about them. Rather, a point where values of y started increasing, then we pick the corresponding values of x at that point. So how can we obtain them? We need to find the line of symmetry. Line of symmetry is a line that divides the curve into two equal parts. I cannot actually determine where exactly it is, but we can add the two roots together, divide by 2 in order to find the line of symmetry. So we say that C Roman 2, line of symmetry. We take negative 1.2, we add it to 1.6, we divide by 2. This will give us a value of x at that point. Negative 1.2 plus 1.6 will give us 0.4. Then that 0.4, if divided by 2, will give us what? 0.2. So this is what? 0.2 as a value of x. So at 0.2, which is somewhere here, I cannot actually see that. It's a place where the curve started taking turn. It started increasing from that point. So the values of x will be from that point up to positive infinity. And if we consider the boundary, if we use the boundary, because they say we should stop at x equal to 3, from negative 3 down to 3, if we consider that, we are going to take the values of x from 0.2 down to 3. But since we know quadratic graphs are what? Continuous function, we can say that the values of x are from 0.2 down to what? Positive infinity. But we can write 3 because they say we should stop at 3. It doesn't matter, but you should know it is continuous. So this is the solution to the B part. Or if you should consider it as continuous, you say 0.2 less than x less than or equal to. Or you cannot say or equal to because we don't know what is infinity. So you choose among these two. Then the last question here, they say we should find the minimum value of y. Exactly the point where the parabola takes a turn. The corresponding value of y at that point is said to be the minimum. So we cannot actually read exact values here, but we know it should be less than this negative 4 because the curve will turn down here. We know it passes through 4, but that 4 cannot be actually the minimum. So the minimum could be negative 4.1 or 0.2. Let us take 0.2. You know, those fractions are not going to be considered. So Roman number 3, y minimum will be at what? Y equal to negative 4.1 or 0.2. Let us use 0.2. And I think this is the end of these questions. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Now let us move on to question number 9. Here is question number 9 of WAEC 2023 Mathematics Examination. The question is related to statistics and elementary statistics. We are given a table here which shows the height of teak trees harvested by a farmer. You can see the height of trees here from 3 down to 8 with their corresponding number of trees, which is the frequency. So if we are to declare this, we are going to call it X in statistics, and we're going to call this one F for frequency. The first one said we should find the median of the height. You see we have some heights here, so what is the median among them? And the second question reads, calculate correct to one decimal place the mean and the standard deviation. Let's start with the first question, which is the median. To find the median, we need to find the summation of the frequency. So summation of the frequency, summation of f will be equal to, let me add all of them together. From here you can see we have 4 and 6 making 10, another 4 and 6 making 10, that is 20, 25, 27. So altogether we have 27. And we can even call it n, but let me call it summation of f. We have 27. Secondly, we need to find the position of that median. Position of the median will be equal to n plus 1 divided by 2. N here stands for the summation of f. So this will be 27 plus 1 divided by 2. And 27 plus 1 will give us 28. And 28 divided by 2 is equal to 14. Don't forget to put TH to the top. This is position of the median. So how can we find the median? We are going to count 1 to 14 among the frequency. And remember, we are going to choose a number from the heights, but we are going to calculate the position under the frequency. So we have 4 and 6, making 10. 10 plus 4 is 14, right? Because 14 is the median position. So we are going to pick 5. And hence, therefore, the median is 5 in meters, right? So 5 meter. So the median is 5 meter because you can see the height is measured in meters. And we are done with the first question. But if you want to suffer yourself, you can write the height together with their frequency. For example, here that we have 3. 3 appears how many times? 4 times. So you can say that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you move to the next one, which is 4. It appears 6 times. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You move to the next one. 5 appears 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. You move to the next one. 6 appears how many times? 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 appears 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the last one, 8 appears 2 times. So we have 1, 2. So now let us calculate the median. That is the middle number. By striking, let me strike 4 here. First 4. First 4. Second 4. Second 4. We have another 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see we have 1, and 5 is said to be the middle number. That is another way to find it, which is, I think, a very long way to go. All right, 5 is the median. Now let us move on to the second question, which says we should find the mean and the standard deviation. It is always recommended to write the formula before we compute the table, because we are going to compute a table before we calculate the mean and the standard deviation. Okay, this is B part. For the mean, which is denoted by x bar, it is equal to the summation of fx divided by the summation of f. Then for the standard deviation denoted by delta is equal to the square root of summation of f of x minus x bar squared divided by summation of f. Why do we need the formula? We want to make sure that every single item in these formulas will have to appear in our table. So now let us compute the table. The table will contain x, f of x, x minus x bar squared, then f of x minus x bar squared. It will contain all of this. So let me start by writing x here. We have x, we have f, we have f times x, we have what again? X minus x bar, we have x minus x bar all squared, then lastly we have f of x minus x bar all squared. For x, we have them from 3 down to 8. So let me write all of them. We have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, we have 7, we have 8. Then their respective frequencies. We have 4, 6, 4, 4, 6, 4, 4, 6, 4, 5, then 6 and 2. Then 6 and 2. Then f times x, meaning we should take this and multiply them together. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 6 is 24. 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 6 is 42. 8 times 2 is 16. Right? And lastly, we are going to take the summation of this. You know, we have summation of fx. You can see that right here. So we are going to take the summation. We have 12 plus 24 plus 20 plus 30 plus 42 plus 16. And this is equal to 144. We equally need to take the summation of f. That is sum of all the frequency. Already we know there are 27 from here. Remember, there are 27. So we write 27 here. And that summation of all the frequency. So these two information are enough for us to find the mean. So now let us compute for the mean, which is Roman number 1, B. So Roman number 1, we are asked to compute for the mean, which is summation of f of x divided by summation of f. This is equal to 144 divided by 27. And they say we should write our answer in 1 decimal place. So this is approximately equal to 5.3 in 1 dp. So now we are done with the mean. Next is the standard deviation. But let us finish computing the table. Here we have x minus x bar. The reason why we stop, we have to compute for the x bar, which is 5.3. So we are going to take x here and subtract x bar. Whatever we obtain, we write it here. So we have 3 minus 5.3. That is the first one, which is going to give us negative 2.3. Then 4 minus x bar. I think I should write x bar here to the top. X bar is equal to 5.3. So now let us keep on subtracting. When we have x equal to 4, 4 minus 5 minus 3 will give us negative 1.3. So we have negative 1.3 here. Then next is 5. We have 5 minus 5.3, which is going to give us negative 0.3. Negative 0.3. Then the next one is 6. We have 6 minus 5.3, which is going to give us 0.7. 0.7. Then the next one is 7. 7 minus 5.3 is 1.7. We have 1.7 right here. And lastly, when we have 8, 8 minus 5.3 will give us 2.7. So we have 2.7. The next thing is to square all of this. Take them one at a time and square that. Negative 2.3 squared is 5.29. They will move to the next one. Negative 1.3 squared is 1.69. We move to the next one. Negative 0.3 squared is 0.09. We move to the next one, which is 0.7. 0.7 all squared is 0.49. Then 1.7, which is 2.89. Then the last one, which is 2.7. This will give us 7.29. Then the last thing here is to take frequency and multiply it by this. The frequency, the first frequency here is 4 multiplied by this, which is going to give us 21.16. Then we take the second one, which is 6 multiplied by 1.69. We have 10.14. Then we move on. The next frequency is 4 multiplied by 0.09, 0.36. Then the next frequency is 5 multiplied by 0.49, 2.45. The next frequency is 6 multiplied by 2.89, 17.34. And lastly, the frequency is 2 multiplied by 7.29, 14.58. Next, we are going to add all of this together. All together, we have 66.03. 66.03. All right. Then standard deviation, let me do it here. Standard deviation is equal to the square root of summation of f of x minus x bar whole squared divided by summation of f. This is equal to the square root of what? This is 66.03. That is for the summation of f of x minus x bar squared. Divide by summation of f. Summation of f is 27. Divide by 27. So 66.03 divided by 27 will give us 2.45 approximately. So this is equal to the square root of 2.45. And what is the square root of 2.45? It is approximately equal to 1.6 in 1 dp. This is standard deviation. And I think this is all about this question. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Next is question number 10. Here is question number 10 of WAEC 2023 Mathematics Examination. The question is related to bearing and distance. The question reads, in a town, Chief X resides 60 meters away on a bearing of 57 degrees from a palace P, while Chief Y resides on the bearing of 150 degrees from the same palace P. The residence of X and Y are 150 meters apart. A. Illustrate the information in a diagram. B. Find, correct to three significant figures, the bearing of X from Y and the distance between P and Y. All right, let us start with the first one. They say we should illustrate this information in a diagram. There is something very important in bearing. That word from. Let me find it. You can see that here. From. Whenever you hear the word from, it means you should measure whatever from that position, whether it is an angle or a distance. So we are going to calculate this 57 degrees from P. So the first point we need to locate is P. And we are going to calculate 57 degrees from P, measure 60 meters down to X. So that's what it means here. So let's assume we have a point right here, which is point P. And you should know that every single point contains a north pole. But I am going to draw all the 4 cardinal points, north, south, east, and west. So this is the north, this is the south, this is the east, this is the west. So we are going to calculate 57 degrees from P down to X, because that's what the question is saying. X is 60 meters away from P, and what? 57 degrees from P. So let us measure 57. What you should know about these cardinal points, this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, this is all these are 90 degrees. But 57, you should know, is less than 90. So we are going to do a rough sketch, not on scale. So let's assume this is what we have, and you should know that this is 60 meters away. So we have another point here, which is point X, right? This angle right here is 57 degrees, and you should write it in 3 figures, 057 degrees. And because the total angle here is 90 degrees, what do you think we have left? We have 33 left. So this is 33. I can write 33 in just 2 digits because it's not part of the question. Next, we have another residence of Y, which is 150 degrees from the same location. It means that we are going to measure another angle, which is 150. What you should remember is that every angle must be calculated or must be measured from the north. So we are going to measure this 150 from this knot of P down to 150. Already this is 90. To get to 150, we need 60 extra. And that 60 is more than half of 90, right? So by assumption, I can draw something like this. Right? And you should know that this also contains 4 cardinal points. All right, something like this. This must be 60 degrees, right? 60 degrees, because 57 plus 33 plus 60 will give us that 150. That's our main goal. We want to make sure the whole of this angle is 150, which we don't have to write because we have other smaller angles. So this is what we have. This is point Y. And the total angle right here will be what? 33 plus 60, which is 93 degrees. This is 93 degrees. Okay. So they said that the distance from X to Y is 150. So now let us connect X and Y. So this is X and Y. We have 180 meters apart. So we have just illustrated the information in a diagram, which is the A part. Then secondly, the B part, we are asked to find the bearing of X from Y. That word from is very important. So how can we calculate the angle? The angle must be calculated from Y down to X. So Y is Y, this is Y, and every angle must be measured from the knot. This is the knot of Y. You're going to measure this angle from the knot clockwise until you hit that line leading to X. This is the line leading to X. And we are going to calculate all the angles. And how can we do that? You can see from here to here is 90. From here to here is 90. From here to here is 90. Already we have what? 270. We have to also calculate this and this. But this one is known to be 60. Why? I will tell you why. This is 60 degrees. Because it is alternate to this angle. Look at them. We have two parallel lines and a transversal line. So therefore, those two angles are said to be alternate to each other, and alternate angles must be equal. So we know that this is 90, 90, 90, 60. The only angle we need to find is this one. Then we add all of them together in order to get the bearing of X from Y. So now let us calculate theta. We can use sine rule because we have opposite side and an angle, right? And we have another side and a given angle, so we can use sine rule. Since we are looking for theta, we can say that sine theta, which is the angle we are looking for, divide by the opposite side, which is 60 meters. This must be equal to sine of that other angle, which is 93 degrees, divide by the opposite side, which is 180. Then we make sine theta the subject by multiplying both sides by 60. Therefore, sine theta is equal to 60 multiplied by sine of 93 degrees divided by 180. So I'm going to use my calculator to press everything here direct. What I have here is approximately equal to 0.333 approximately. But since we are looking for the angle, we take sine inverse of both sides. And hence theta will be equal to sine inverse or arc sine of 0.333. So let me press it on my calculator. Theta equal to 19.45 degrees. And hence this angle right here, theta is 19.45 degrees. So how can we calculate the bearing of X from Y? Therefore, the bearing of X from Y is equal to, you calculate all this angle round. We have 90 degrees here, another 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, plus 60 degrees, And lastly, plus theta, which we have just obtained to be 19.45 degrees. So let's add all of them together. 90, 90, 90, we have 270. Then plus 60 plus 19.45 altogether. We have this to be equal to 349.45 degrees. But let me look at the question more again. They say correct three significant figures. So what are the three significant figures here? 1, 2, 3. All of them are significant. So we say that this is equal to 349 degrees in what three significant figures. And we have just answered this question. Then the next question, we're asked to find the distance between P down to Y. P down to Y. This is P, this is Y. We want to find their distance apart. So let me call the distance X. But I think it is important to find this angle. And you know the total angles in a triangle are equal to 180. Already this is 19.45 and this is 93. We're going to take them away from 180 just to get angle PXY. So let me find angle PXY. Angle PXY is equal to 180 degrees minus 93 degrees minus which other angle again? Theta, which is 19.45. 19.45 degrees. And this is equal to 180 minus 93 minus 19.45 altogether. We have 67.55 degrees. So this is the angle. I can even write it here. 67.55. Again, we can use sine rule to find the distance apart, which is x. We can say that x divided by sine of this angle will be equal to one of the sides, 180 divided by sine of 93. So x divided by sine of that angle, which is 67.55, must be equal to 180 divided by sine of 93 degrees. We make x the subject by multiplying both sides by this, and hence x equal to 180 multiplied by sine of 67.55 divided by sine of 93. Again, I'm going to use my calculator, press everything directly. X is approximately equal to 166.587, but they said in three significant figures. Remember, we are looking for py, the distance, and therefore py is equal to 167 because this is the third significant number, but the next number is greater or equal to 5, therefore you have to round this up. And this is the distance in meters, right? And this is all about these questions. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Let us move on to question number 11. Here is question number 11 of WAEC 2023 mathematics examination. It consists of A and B parts. And the first question is related to regular polygons, while the second one involves a cycle. All right, let's start with the first one. The first question reads, two regular polygons P and Q are such that the number of sides of P is twice the number of sides of Q. The difference between the exterior angles of P and that of Q is 45 degrees. We are asked to find the number of sides of P. And the second question here reads, the area of semicircle is 32 pi cm squared. We are asked to find in terms of pi the circumference of the semicircle. All right, let's start with the first one. We have the A part. If a polygon is regular, all its side lengths must be equal and all the interior angles must also be equal. So let the number of sides in Q be equal to n. So let the number of sides of Q be n. Therefore, the sides of P will be 2n because the question stated that P is twice the number of sides of Q. So therefore, the number of sides of P is what? 2n, because Q is n, therefore P will be 2n. All right, having done this, we need to find the exterior angle of each of P and Q. To find the exterior angle of any regular polygon, all you have to do is to take 360 degrees and divide it by the total number of sides. So we have, let me start with Q, exterior angle of Q is equal to 360 degrees divided by n. Then what about P? Exterior angle of P will be equal to 360 degrees divided by 2n, which can be reduced to 180 degrees divided by n. All right. And it further stated that the difference between the exterior angles of P and Q is 45 degrees. So if we take this and subtract this, we are going to get 45 degrees. Therefore, 360 degrees divided by n minus 180 degrees divided by n must be equal to 45 degrees. We have common denominators, therefore we can say that 360 minus 180 divided by n is equal to 45 degrees. 360 minus 180 is still 180 divided by n equal to 45. We're going to make n the subject, therefore n will be 180 divided by 45 degrees, which is equal to 4, and hence n is equal to 4 sides, right? But what is this 4 sides? Remember, n represents the number of sides of Q, but the question is asking us to find the number of sides of P, which is twice n. Therefore, we conclude the number of sides of P is equal to 2n. Therefore, this is equal to 2 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 8 sides. It means that regular polygon P has 8 sides. We have just answered this question. Now let us move on to the second one. The B part reads, the area of semicircle is 32 pi cm squared. Find in terms of pi the circumference of the semicircle. The circumference means we should find the length of that semicircle. Let me draw the semicircle first. So we're talking about B. We have semicircle like this, half of a circle. The area is 32 pi cm squared. Remember the area of a cycle. Area of cycle is equal to pi r squared. But since we are talking about semi, that is half, we divide by 2. And hence the area of semicircle is pi r squared divided by 2. But the area is given as 32 pi, which is equal to pi r squared divided by 2. I would like to find the radius. You see pi cancel pi. You multiply both sides by 2. 32 times 2 is 64. Therefore, r squared is equal to 64. Take square root of both sides to find r. You don't have to add plus or minus because this is a length. All lengths are positive. And square root of 64 is 8. And hence the radius of the cycle is 8 centimeters. All right. So now how can we find the length? To find the circumference, we need to find this distance as well as the distance here, the length of the curve. And to find the length of the curve, you know, circumference of a cycle, let me use red here. Circumference of a cycle is given as what? 2 pi r. But since this is half a cycle, we divide by 2. and hence the semicircle, just this curve without the diameter, will be pi r. And because we want to find the total, we have to include the diameter plus d. And this d, is 2r. 2 radius will make 1 diameter. So now let us substitute everything here to find the circumference. C will be equal to, remember they say we should leave the answer in terms of pi. So all we have to do is to multiply pi with r. R is 8. You can see that here. So we have 8 pi plus 2r, and r is 8 again. 2 times 8 is 16. Finally, the circumference will be equal to 8 pi plus 16 altogether centimeters. And hence this is the solution to the second part. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Now let us move on to question number 12. Here is question number 12 of WAEC 2023 Mathematics Examination. Question 12a is related to cycle theorem, which reads, in the diagram, P, Q, R, and S are points on the cycle with the center O. QR is parallel to OS. Angle QOR is 2M. This 2M is in degrees. Angle QPR is equal to N. And lastly, angle SOR is equal to 54 degrees. We're asked to find the values of M and N. All right, let's get started before we come back to the B part. Let us study this diagram carefully. You should know that QR is a chord. And remember, whenever a chord subtends an angle to the center, the triangle formed is an isosceles triangle. If it is an isosceles triangle, the base angles must be the same. Therefore, this angle and this angle must be the same. So now let us name them. The first angle should be RQO. Angle RQO must be equal to the other one, QRO. QRO. So they must be the same. Reason, isosceles. And secondly, you should observe that line QR and OS are parallel. What can you remember about two parallel lines? If you have two parallel lines and a transversal line, this angle right here must be equal to this angle. What do we call them? Alternate angles. Therefore, this angle 54 must be equivalent to this angle, which is also QRO. They must be exactly the same because they are alternate. So let me name them. QRO, QRO must be equal to ROS. ROS. Reason, alternate angles. Alternate angles are equal. And hence, we can conclude that both of these two angles must be equal to 54, because this is 54, this must be 54, because these two angles are the same in an isosceles triangle, right? So we have just obtained the base angles of that isosceles triangle. Therefore, RQO equal to QRO, which is equal to 54 degrees. I have already declared why these are the same because of the isosceles. All right, remember that we are looking for M before we come back to N. The sum of all the angles in a triangle equals what? 180 degrees. So now let us add all of the angles together. The base angles are 54, 54, the two of them. So RQO plus QRO plus the other one, which is 2M, is QOR. QOR. All of these angles together must be equal to 180 degrees. Now let us substitute them. This is 54. This is also 54. And this is 2M. This must be equal to 180 degrees. 54 plus 54 is 108 degrees plus 2m. This is equal to 180 degrees. 2m equal to 180 minus 108. And hence 2m will be equal to 72 degrees. And finally, m is equal to 72 degrees divided by 2. And 72 divided by 2 is 36. And hence, m is equal to 36. So we have just obtained the value of m. But we are also asked to find the value of n. Okay, what you should know is that, again, this is a chord. A chord sustains an angle to the center, right? Or we can consider an arc. We can use either a chord or an arc. If a chord sustains an angle to the center, the same chord sustains another angle to the circumference. The angle subtended to the center is always twice the angle subtended to the circumference, if and only if they are produced from the same chord or an arc. It means that this 2m, which is an angle, must be twice n. This angle right here must be 2 times this one. We say that 2m must be twice n, 2n, right? Therefore, if 2 cancel 2 from both sides, m must be equal to n. And we have already seen that m is equal to 36 degrees. Therefore, we conclude that n must be equal to 36 degrees as well. So both n and m are equal to 36, which implies that the total angle here must be what? 72, and this is 36. You see, 72 is twice 36. Angle subtended to the center is twice angle subtended to the circumference. You see, this angle is touching the circumference of the circle, and they are all being produced from the same chord. This is the chord QR, and hence we have just answered this question. Now let us move on to the second one. The second question stated that the length of a rectangle is 4 centimeters more than the width. If the perimeter is 40 cm, we're asked to find the area of that rectangle. Okay? So the B part. Suppose we have a rectangle here. This is the width and this is the length. According to the question, the length is 4 centimeters more than the width. So if you take the width and add 4 centimeters, it will be equivalent to the length. So this is what? W plus 4. I remember that the perimeter of a rectangle is given as 2 multiplied by the length plus the width. But the length is what? 4 plus W, so we can substitute it with L. P is now equal to 2 multiplied by W plus 4 plus another W, because this L is equivalent to 4 plus W, and we have another W, which if we add them together, you have 2 W's plus 4. This is 2 multiplied by 2W plus 4. And if you expand, you're going to get 4W plus 8, because 2 times 2W is 4W, and 2 times 4 is 8, which is equal to P. But from the question, P is given as 40. The perimeter is 40. You can see that here. So we can substitute it there. Therefore, we can say that 4W plus 8 must be equal to 40. Take 8 to the other side. You have 4W equal to 40 minus 8, which is 32, right? 4W is equal to 32. Divide both sides by 4. W is equal to 32 divided by 4, which is equal to 8. W is equal to 8 cm. We have just obtained the width of that rectangle, but the question stated that we should find the area, hence find the area, right? So now we're going to find the area of that rectangle. And remember that the area of rectangle is given as what? Length times the width. And what is the length? Remember that length is equal to W plus 4. Here, look at it, W plus 4. So we're going to substitute it. We have A equal to W plus 4 multiplied by W. But W is equal to 8. We have just obtained that, so let's plug it in. This is equal to 8 plus 4 multiplied by 8. And this is equal to 8 plus 4 is 12, then multiplied by 8. This is equal to 96 centimeter squared. And this is the area of that rectangle. And this is all about question number 12. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. The next question is question number 13, which is the last question. Here is question number 13, which is the last question in WAEC 2023 mathematics examination. The A part is related to cycle, while the B part is related to equation of a line. So now let us start with the A part. You can see the diagram, and the question reads, in the diagram, the radius of the sector of the cycle centered O is 7 cm. The angle MON is 60 degrees. We are asked to find, correct to one decimal place, the area of the shaded region. Okay, I want you to pay attention to this sector because we have a bigger sector here. In order to confuse you, this is why they bring this. Pay attention to only this sector. We are going to find the area of this sector first, then find the area of this rectangle, then subtract the area of the rectangle from the area of the sector. What is left will be the area of the shaded region. And if this is 7, you should know that this is 7 also, because from the center to any part of the circumference is a radius. So we are going to consider this as 7 as well. Okay, now let us find the area of the sector. Let me even copy the diagram. So to find the area of sector, you know it is equal to the angle subtended by the sector out of 360 degrees multiplied by the area of a cycle, which is pi r squared. And they say we should take pi as 22 divided by 7. All right, so we're going to substitute. The angle subtended is 60 degrees divided by 360 degrees multiplied by 22 divided by 7 multiplied by 7 squared, which is 7 times 7. From here you can see that 7 will cancel 7. So all we have to do is to take this, divide by this, multiply by 22, multiply by 7. Let me use my calculator directly. 60 divided by 360 will give us 0.16666. Then we multiplied by 22. We also multiplied by 7. We have 25.7 approximately. So we have 25.7 centimeter squared. So this is the area of the sector. Now we need to find the area of this triangle. You should know that if you are given a triangle, let me sketch it here. If you are given a triangle like this, such that the angle also here is given, plus the opposite sides, let's say this is A, this is B. Whenever you have a triangle in this form, to find its area, you can always take 1 divided by 2, you multiply by A, you multiply by B, you multiply by sine of that angle in between the two sides. So I think we can find the length of OT since we have this side length, an angle in between them. You can see that this is a right-angled triangle, right? So what is the relationship between this side, which is called the adjacent side, and also the hypotenuse is cosine. Therefore, cosine of 60 degrees will be what? OT divided by 7. Cosine of 60 degrees is equal to OT, that is the side we are looking for, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 7. To get OT, we're going to multiply both sides by 7. So we have 7 cosine of 60 degrees. Let me use my calculator directly. And 7 multiplied by cosine of 60 degrees, according to my calculator, is 7 divided by 2. OT is 7 divided by 2, but we can write it as 3.5. cm, right? So having obtained this side, we can find the area of the triangle ONT. Therefore, area of triangle ONT will be equal to 1 divided by 2 multiplied by the other side length, which is 7, multiplied by this side length we have of 10, which is 3.5, then multiplied by sine of that angle in between them, which is 60 degrees. Now let me use my calculator to press everything directly. We have 1 divided by 2 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 3.5 multiplied by sine of what? 60 degrees. The whole of this is approximately equal to 10.6. So this is approximately 10.6 centimeter squared. So this is the area of the triangle. Remember, we have obtained the area of sector here, which is 25.7. Therefore, area of shaded region, area of shaded region, shaded portion, is equal to that 25 point what? Is it 0.7? Yes, 0.7. The minus, this is the area of sector, remember? I think, let me even write it here. It will be equal to area of sector minus area of triangle. And area of sector is what? 25.7 minus area of triangle, which we have just obtained as 10.6. 10.6. 25.7 minus 10.6 will give us what? 15.1 cm squared. And hence, this is the area of the shaded region. And this is all about question number 13A. Now let us move on to 13B. We are given that the x and the y-intercept of a straight line are -3 divided by 4 and 2 divided by 7 respectively. We are asked to find the equation of that line. First of all, we are given that x-intercept is equal to -3 divided by 4 and y-intercept as 2 divided by 7. Y equal to mx plus c. And this c here is y-intercept, which is already given here. So let us substitute it. Y equal to mx plus 2 over 7. The only thing we need to find here is m. And how can we find it? There are several ways as well. But remember that x-intercept is the value of x when y is equal to 0. So if we set y equal to 0 here, we have 0 equal to mx plus c. So we can take c to the other side so that we have mx equal to -c, and x will be equal to what? -c divided by m. So this is x-intercept. Already it is given as -3 divided by 4. -3 divided by 4 equal to -c divided by m. From here we can cross multiply. We have -3m equal to -4c. We know what is c. Just a moment. And m finally is equal to -4. Negative will cancel. We have 4 over 3 multiplied by c. But remember that c is 2 over 7. So finally m is equal to 4 over 3 multiplied by 2 over 7. 2 times 4 or 4 times 2 is 8. And 3 times 7 is 21. And hence m is 8 divided by 21. All you have to do is to bring it back here. And therefore our equation is y equal to m, which is 8 divided by 21. Remember to attach x, plus c, which is 2 divided by 7. And hence this is the equation of that straight line. And another way you can solve it, remember from the question, x-intercept is given as -3 divided by 4 and y-intercept as 2 divided by 7. x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0. So we can have a point -3/4, comma 0. And y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. So we have 0, comma 2/7. So once you have this, you can easily find the slope m, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y2, you can take 2/7. You subtract 0, that is y2 minus y1. Then x2, which is 0 minus is plus, 3 divided by 4. Simplify this, you have 2/7 divided by 3/4. This is equal to 2/7. Multiply, then you take reciprocal of the other side by flipping upside down, 4/3. This is equal to 8/21. You can see the same slope, 8/21. Then you can plug it into your equation, y equal to mx plus c. C, remember, is y-intercept, which is given already. Therefore, y equal to 8/21 as the slope times x plus 2/7. This is another way to do that. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Bye-bye.